Hello. This is the 5th time that I have attempted to record this same information. And I'd like you to rest assured that I am stopped now and I'm charging my vehicle. Here we are, folks. I want to tell you once again that some people would tell you that you should just get an AI, ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini, and just stick with it and use it because it doesn't make sense to kind of switch around and go back and forth. That is not the system that I employ because every one of these platforms is going to have its strengths and weaknesses. And for me, I would like to appear to know what I'm doing. And if I'm utilizing information that makes me look like I don't know what I'm doing, I don't like that at all. So I'm going to give you a little example. In October, I'm going to say, I was working on a project and I was using Claude because I like the way that Claude writes. It's really strong with that capability. And I was developing a budget. And so I ran it by Claude and I put in the things. I was like, oh, hey, you know what? You've got to remember to put in employee benefits for the salaries because that's like a line item. You can't forget that. That's like 30% of the wages. That's a lot. And it was like, oh, yeah. Sorry, that was a good catch. So let's put that in. And then there were things that left out, like what about overhead? And it's, oh, yeah. By the time we finished, we were way over budget, or what the budget was that we'd originally lined out. And then it was trying to contain it within $80,000 to $100,000 for seed money. And it was like, well, look, if you just shorten up your runway to like 4 months, you'll be able to make it. And it's like, I can't do that. That's nonsense. It's out of the question. There's no way I can do that. I'm going to come before some people, ask them for money. And it's a false premise. I can't do that. So that's my warning to you. Claude sucks at mathematical computation or reasoning. When I went back to Claude just recently, just after everybody switched over and did a new release, which has been between sort of the 4th of this month, February, and about 10 days ago, virtually all of those platforms, DeepSync and all 3 of the ones that I named earlier, and I don't know about Grok, but, there's been a lot of sort of upgrades. They're all, vying with each other, trying to keep up. And arguably, subjectively, Opus 4.6, which is the paid model, $20 a month or $17 a month if you want to pay for it for a year, it's like $200 a year, is the superior model. It's subjective, but, and that is Claude. So I thought, well, I'm going to give it a shot because to go the other route, I was developing some ad copy and I was working with ChatGPT and I asked it to develop some ads, short ads for me that were like compelling and really like reached out and grabbed you, and it gave me some copy and it just was like so blah. It did not make me feel at all compelled to want to delve any deeper into that project or product. And so I was like, look, I asked it a couple more times to, make it more catchy or compelling. And it still was really awful. And so I went to Claude, which I hadn't had very much experience with at the time. And I asked it to, I gave it the same prompt, and it gave me this really sparkly, brilliant kind of ad copy. And I thought, wow, this is great. So I started to use it more, but then that's where I got into that, like, oops, the budgeting piece of it's not really great. So the other thing that I'd like to say is, since these new releases came out, I think that every time the new release comes out, there's kind of like a little glitch in the mechanism. And I want to give you an example about ChatGPT. I was working with it on a project just really like in January. And I couldn't remember where I put it, because if you don't assign a title to the work that you've done, the chat that you have, ChatGPT or any of the programs will just assign something to it. And if it's not meaningful to you, you might have a hard time calling that chat. So I was kind of stressed out and overwhelmed, and I asked it if it could find it, because ostensibly ChatGPT is supposed to be able to retain, and it has said this to me before, if you just give me some keywords about the conversation we were talking about, then that we were having, then I'll find that, and then I'll review it, and I'll build up my knowledge about that. But be aware that these platforms, they don't retain any information about you or the conversations that you've been having with them. They are supposed to be able to look at what you chatted about. If you go back to that same chat and want to continue with it, they're supposed to be able to review what you had done a week ago or 2 days ago, and then you can, keep up from there. But what happened after the change, I'm pretty sure, I'm not 100%, but this is what it seems like. I finally found what I was asking ChatGPT to remember, because it was like, now I'm just kind of be here now. I really don't have any information about whatever we talked about before. Zero. So I was like, fine. So I found the conversation, and then I went on that same chat and I started typing in my questions, and it was like, if you could just like cut and paste something from that last conversation. And I was like, dude, this is the conversation. Like, look right up there. I am resuming this conversation that I'm asking you about right here. And it had a really hard time. Eventually, it kind of was like, oh, right, okay. But there are these little glitches. I've noticed it before. It was months ago, but when they come out with a new version, something glitches out. So make sure that you're aware of that. If you're picking up on some past thread that you were working on. I think I said this. I've done this. This is the 5th time I've done this. So I think I said that I like to compare I like to take the output from one of the chats that I've been working on a project with and bring it over to another chat and say, hey, can you critique this and just let me know if this seems like it's on board for you? Are we, is this rationale seem like it holds water, or is it, going off course? And with that, I'd like to say that if you don't know, you can put permanent prompts into your AI's memory by going to your settings and then inputting a prompt that it will retain and be able to draw on in any chat that you have. What I have in mind is some prompts that say, this is a really good one, I like it, and I don't always use it, but it's in there in its memory. Make sure that you're 95% sure that you are giving me the best answer before you resume. And if you have any questions, or before you put it out, and if you have any questions or need clarity, please ask me before you start. Because a lot of times I just forget stuff. And a lot of times when I'm typing a prompt in, I will say, what about this and this? And please add anything that I might have omitted or overlooked. And it does do that. So I find those really useful. But I also have my tone of voice, the way I'd like to be talked to by ChatGPT or the other programs. And I also have kind of a directive in there that says, don't just sugarcoat it with me, because your AI will pander to you. It'll be like, oh, that's brilliant. What a great idea. Like, just in a way, it's, oh, isn't that sweet? It's a complimentary AI. But that's not what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is clarity and for a little bit of pushback. If my idea's nonsensical, then I want to hear that. I want to have an objective, honest assessment of what I'm doing right and what I'm doing wrong. And it can do that, but in my opinion, you'd be wise to put it in there as something that you always want. And the other thing that I added just recently, because I realized that it's useful, is my full name and a bio and sort of what my container is and what my interests are in the projects that I'm working on, so that it can reflect on like, oh, these are your skills. And so it makes sense to me that you would be looking into this information. Those can all go into permanent prompts. Do I have more? Of course I have more. But I'm going to drop it right now because it's been a long 5 sessions of repeating the same thing. And I would love it if you would like and subscribe to this channel. This is I Heard It Through the Grapevine. I'm Patrice Phillips, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.